Hey, Facebook. Waiting for my guest, Mr. Ken Jenkins, to come on. I'm sorry. Ken Jenkins. Hey, Facebook Live. Hey, Facebook family. We have a great interview. Hello, hello. On. Hello, sir.
Hey, it worked.
How are you?
I am very well. How are you?
Good. I won't tell anyone that you're a movie producer, but you don't know how to work Facebook Live.
So, those who know me close, they know that I've got all thumbs with Facebook Live.
Well, we're gonna give it a couple minutes because we want to, get some folks to come on. So thank you for joining me tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for setting this up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We have folks coming from the southern tier, Cattaraugus County. They're super excited about supporting you when you come.
Hey,
So
Katoya, my goddaughter just joined.
I'm sorry, what'd you
I
say?
see. I said I see my goddaughter just joined, and my mother just joined. Hey, Mama.
Oh, we're just gonna give it a couple minutes or one more minute, everybody, and we'll get started. Give you all some time to join us. I don't know if you can hear the music in my background.
No, I really can't.
No? Okay, we'll talk about
No.
Kevin, but we're playing A Heart That Forgives.
Oh wow. I sent him a text, and he said, great news, and he possibly will be on.
Awesome, awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. He made it on Facebook Live. He made it. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jenkins. I got a message from Mr. Jenkins, just talking about the movie. We didn't know each other, or we don't know each other, but I got a message talking about the movie, and I watched the trailer, and I said, oh my goodness, I have to interview him. We have to talk about this, especially because he's coming to Buffalo, New York. So we all will have an opportunity to support this movie and meet him. So I'm really looking forward to it. But as many of you know, I'm a radio show host on 96.5 FM here in Buffalo, New York. And we get to talk about all the different topics in today's church. And we talked a lot about forgiveness. So this is right up my alley. And when I saw the trailer for this, which underneath all of this, you'll get links to all of that, and then places where you can watch the trailer and get the actual movie. But this is great. Writer and executive producer Ken Jenkins is the gentleman on the screen that you see. So it's not some random person here on the screen. Is the gentleman on the screen. And I would love to start by asking you a little history about yourself so everyone that is watching can learn a little bit about you and like where are you from? Give us a little info on you.
Well, I was born in the Bronx, New York, the boogie down for all of you from New York City. Um, Grew up in the Bronx, went to school in Connecticut, ended up getting married. I know I'm going really, really fast. Moving to Dallas, and here I am.
So the song "A Heart That Forgives" was written by Kevin LeVar. Can you tell us a little bit about
Right.
your relationship with him and when you heard that song, what it did for you?
Wow. So Kevin has become just a brother to me. His son Justice is my godson. Him and his wife are just like family. And hey, Maria. And he was actually, before he put out his first CD, he was talking about this song that he was working on and wasn't sure it was going to be good enough for the CD. And by the time he finished in it, I literally was on a ball on my floor crying. And it was A Heart That Forgives. It was the first time I'd heard it. And even before the concept of the movie had even come about,
Mm-hmm.
that song already convicted something in me. And it would eventually come out and show itself. And that became the movie. And with Kevin's blessing, I was able to name the movie A Heart That Forgives, and 4 of his songs actually appear in the movie.
Wow. Now, can you talk a little bit about, because you mentioned that this movie was inspired by the song, but also from some of your life events. Can you fill us in on some life events that made this movie come about as well?
Okay, so a lot of people know my personal history, and they may see some of it in the movie. But on April 8th of 2010, I went to bed as a husband and a father of 2. And on April 9th of 2010, I woke up as a single dad. And so my life completely changed at that point, and I spent the next year going through this haze of survivor's guilt, and coming to the conclusion at one point when God revealed to me that I needed to forgive myself for all of the things I thought I had not done, or the ways I had not been a good husband. You know how they say tomorrow's not promised. Well, I was a living, breathing testimony of that. Whole first year after my wife's passing, I had to learn how to forgive myself.
Wow.
And that song continued to play over and over and over in my head. You know, Kevin's plea to God that he give me a heart like you have, God, a heart that can forgive, one that can mend any offense. And so I had to first start with me. And so the movie actually started as a book, because part of my history is I write. When things are troubling, when things are difficult, I write about it. I've written a couple of books. So I started writing this book, and I felt at that point it was going to be something that I was going to share with men who were dealing with the sudden loss of their spouse and now becoming single parents. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I thought it was going to be. God had revealed to me through the writing of this book that there are more stories than just mine,
Right.
that forgiveness is unique to each of us. For me, it was learning how to forgive myself. Whether you think it's logical or not, you go through that.
Yeah.
You know, you're the surviving spouse, so you have to figure out how to give yourself permission to heal. And then I realized that maybe for you, your forgiveness path was seeking out someone you know you hurt and asking for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone else it was, you know, someone had hurt them, so they have to offer the forgiveness. So I realized that each of these paths are a little bit different, even though we're all moving towards God's healing and God's freedom.
Right.
And so the movie began to formulate out of these different storylines, these different characters who interplay with one another and come out of each other's lives. And I actually sat down. I remember it was interesting because I was reading this to Kevin and his wife, Shondell, because they were close friends, helping me through that whole period. And I would read them the passages of my book. And one night, kind of jokingly, she said, "This sounds like a movie." And that, you know, and the next thing you know, I was writing a screenplay, which I had never written before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking of actors who I'd never met before. I didn't know anyone in the film business five years ago. Literally, absolutely no one.
So,
But God,
so clue us in on that process. You didn't know anybody, but you pulled some big actors. You pulled Charles Malik Whitfield, Carl Anthony Payne. I mean, you pulled some great actors. Where did you start?
well, it all started with God.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bottom. That's the foundation. You know, like it says in the book of Ezra, you know, the people rejoiced because the foundation was laid, and the foundation was Jesus Christ. People blew the trumpets. The priests put on their robes because the foundation was laid. So it all started with God.
Right.
But then I meet my director, M. Legend Brown, who's a phenomenal director, has a number of movies in his catalog. Faith, I met Kelly Gray, who became my producer, who was nominated as Best Producer. And then I believe God had given me this vision. So I literally began sticking up pictures of people on my wall in my office at my house of actors that I wanted to have in this movie that I hadn't written yet, or these people that I hadn't met yet. You know, my children
So you
probably
did
thought I
a
was losing
vision
it.
board. You did a vision board on
Yeah,
your wall.
yes, it was
Okay.
a vision wall, and I putting up faces. You know, I had characters in my mind. I said, "Oh, he'd be good in that character. Oh, he'd be good in that character."
Uh-huh.
And I put up all names and faces and sceneries, and I started drawing on a race board that I had, these different concepts. And you make a long story short, how God just comes to you when your obedience is offered to Him. Every single person that was on my vision board was either in the movie or I'd met somewhere along the way. Charles Malik Whitfield was on my board in that very role he played. Matter of fact, once I first read the script, I met him, like I said, through meeting M. Legend Brown and Kelly Gray. They just happened to know him because I didn't know them 5 years ago. And they said, "Oh, we know Malik," and called him up, shared the script with him. And he said, "Man, I like this so much. I want to expand this role that he plays." So then, with the help of M. Legend and Kelly and phenomenal screenwriter T.K. Henderson, we kind of rewrote his part to give his part a whole lot more screen time and a whole lot more depth. And he did a phenomenal job in that role. He just captured the essence of Silk, and people will see that.
Right. So I have to take this moment to ask this because there's so many people that'll probably listen to this and they have their vision boards and they could get discouraged along the way because what you're talking about took time. Like you're talking about a 5-year span. You're talking about time. So what was it like for you having this on your vision board and then seeing it come to pass? What was it like when you were standing there while the movie was being put together with these actors that you knew you had put on your board years before?
Going through the process before the movie began to actually get shot, it was almost like a zone. I just knew that God had given me this vision, and I believed that He was going to help me see it through no matter how discouraged I got. The thing that He put on my heart early on was that I have to accept that people are going to come to the project who are supposed to be there, and then people may leave the project who are not supposed to be there. And I had to trust God with that because that's difficult to do a lot of times, especially close to you. That's very, very difficult. So I just thank God for the strength to remain consistent in that and just know that this vision that He gave me was for me, and it was going to come to pass at some point in some way. I can remember a night in particular when Carl Payne was shooting a scene where he's talking to the preacher in the movie, and it was a very emotional scene. And it's Carl actually won Best Supporting Actor in the Bare Bones Film Festival for this role, just to give him a plug. So, CP, I stood there and I heard these words being spoken, and I looked on the screen and I saw these actors acting out this what I always say, this craziness that came out of my head. And it was such a humbling but yet godly type of surreal experience where what I had believed and what I had thought and what God had given me was coming to life.
Right.
It was actually in front of my eyes, and it was an awesome. I can't even really describe it. You just have to experience. You have to take that leap of faith and go for what God has put, and you will experience that. You may get a little bump and bruise along the way,
right?
But you will eventually experience it.
Wow. So, what can you tell us? Give us the scoop without giving it all away, because we'll be there to support you. What can you tell us about the movie? Give us the good.
The good? Wow. Well,
give
the good is
good.
Ultimately, give us the the good is ultimately that this movie is about faith. This movie is about the healing power through God's grace, and that comes through our ability to forgive. We oftentimes feel like offering forgiveness is somehow for the other person. It's really not. It's for us. I've heard quote so many times, different ways in life, that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
Right.
That's what it really is. We are holding on to this. There's a line in the movie that says, you're walking around with this hump on your back 10, 20, 30 years, carrying all this unforgiveness, and the other person's gone on with their life. They're not even thinking about you. So we really, really do it for ourselves. So I think in this movie, you're going to see and you're going to relate to one of these stories. If people have ever seen independent movie Crash with Terrence Howard and all the different characters going in and out of each other's lives, I've had people tell me this is a faith-based crash. I've had the Dove Foundation in their article when they gave us a rating, the Dove rating, say Forgiveness is what this movie is all about. So you're going to see these characters, you're going to see them in real life scenarios. We're not painting a yellow brick road that we all jump on in the end and kind of hop down. No, we're showing you that with work, with understanding, and with God's love and grace, there's a path that you can get on, and that path is going to ultimately lead to your healing.
Wow. I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. So you've won quite a few awards already. Can you tell us
Yes.
about some of those?
Oh, we've won a number of different awards, and when I say we, it really is we. It is M. Legend Brown, T.K. Henderson, Kelly Gray, Nikki Dixon, Charles Malik Whitfield, Carl Payne, the incomparable Irma P.Hall. It is all of us as part of a team that really put our hearts into this film. And in the beginning, when M. Legend said he wanted to do it, and we were going to shoot it in 10 days, I said, "You crazy? I don't know how film, but I know we can't shoot this in 10 days." And he did it, and he told me to trust him. And first, it was difficult because this was like birthing my own baby.
Right.
And I had to give my baby to someone, and hopefully they didn't drop it or say it was ugly or something like that. They just did such a phenomenal job. We won best feature at the Bare Bones Film Festival. Carl Payne, as I mentioned, won Best Supporting Actor at Bare Bones. Nikki Dixon, who's on television in Longmire. She's done a number of television shows. Phenomenal actress. She won Best Supporting Actress at the Church Stars Network Awards. Kelly Gray, my producer, won the Best Producer of the Year for the film at the Church Stars Awards. And one of the ones that I'm most proud of is the Wilbur Award, which a lot of people do not understand what the Wilbur Award is, but it's put on by the Religious Communicators Council. And it's an award not so much given to a Christian movie, but a inspirational faith-based movie based on the uplifting of mankind. And just to put it in perspective, the award that won last year was Hidden Figures.
Wow. Okay.
So we've won a number of awards, and we've been nominated for several, and each and every one of them, to God be the glory. That's all I can say.
Well, we will be there to support you. And then also for the Great Lakes Christian Film Festival, you've been nominated for Best Feature, right?
Yes, found that out yesterday that we're one of the nominees for the Best Feature. So come on down and support, and hopefully we'll walk away with another blessing.
Yes, and I'm going to put under this live feed for everyone where you can get the tickets. A group of us are going. They have the schedule up. We'll be there Sunday, August 5th for all the screenings and then the award ceremony so that we can support you and root you on.
Thank
but
you.
We'll definitely be there. Tickets are $35 or $15 for the day, but it's a 3-day event. I'll post all that information on there, and I'll also post the information again on where you can actually get the movie. And then go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page. Can you give us the Facebook page and the website?
Sure. My website is a heart that forgives the movie.com. A heart that forgives the movie.com. Just all spelled out. You can see the cast. You can see behind the scenes photos. You can see the different events that we've been at. The Facebook page is at HTF The Movie. So it's the letters of A Heart That Forgives, HTF The Movie. You can like us on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. But more importantly, if you have an opportunity to see this movie, see it. Whether it's buying the film, on my website, whether it's on PureFlix, ChristianCinema.com, see the movie. Because ultimately, yes, we want it to be successful. I'm not naive, but ultimately, the vision that I got for this movie came through God and Kevin, and we want you to be blessed, and we want you to be touched by this film in a way that you've never been touched before.
Right. Well, congratulations on everything. Congrats.
Thank you.
And is there anything that you want to say before I let you go?
Yes. The one thing that's come to me out of this whole entire project is faith in God, faith in restoration, faith in renewals, faith in healing. If you have a dream and a vision that God has given you at some point, like Harvey says one time, at some point you're going to come to a cliff. That
Yep.
cliff is going to be a decision, whether you stay safe on the cliff or you take that leap, because you know God has given you that vision. Trust that though you may get a little bumped and bruised on the way down, before you hit the bottom, that parachute's going to open, and you're going to be able to experience the fullness and the potential of what God has for you. I mean, this whole story, this whole thing is 5-6 years in the making, but through God's sustainment and God's ability to help me persevere, I was able to see it through. So I encourage people that have a vision, whether it's writing a book, whether it's making a movie, whether it's, you know, being a radio show talk host. If that's what you want to do and you feel God has put it on you, remember, your vision is not for everybody. It's for you. So not everyone is going to be in support. So trust God is doing what he needs to do in you, helping you fulfill his potential for you.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And someone put on the under this feed that we're gonna have the ugly cry, so we all need to stop and grab a box of tissues.
I heard about the ugly cry. Yeah. Yes,
So
bring
I'll make
your
sure I
tissue.
grab some boxes.
Absolutely. And please make sure if anyone who comes, come up and talk to me, come up and see me. And I tell you what, this is what we'll do if I can, Mercedes. The first 2 people that come up to me and introduce themselves and say they were on this live feed tonight, I'll give them a free copy of the DVD.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, say that one more time.
The first 2 people that come up to me at the Great Lakes Christian Film Festival and say they were on your live feed tonight and they refer to you, I'll give them a copy of the DVD.
Okay. I'll be reminding folks on the feed.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Many congrats to you again, and we will see you very soon.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Carol Hampton, I see you on there. My goddaughter, my daughter, Jamila, I love you, Sweet Pea. Tanisha, I see you guys on there. Thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah, and Harold had the ugly cry.
Well, thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Bye.
God bless.